Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show, and you are here for another edition of Throwback Thursday. Well, we got a doozy for you today. If you look behind me, over my left shoulder, my right shoulder, the gentlemen that you see behind me are a mystical, magical R&B group of hitmakers called the Spinners. Our subject today is what happened to old school R&B. Now, I equate old school R&B up until the early 90s. That's when Luther got thin, the early 90s. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I have no problems and no hesitation comparing R&B music to what's out there now. Let me equate something to you. Let me throw some names out to you you may not even know about. The Whispers, the Commodores, the Tavares, Doobie Brothers, Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, uh, Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack. I could keep going on and on and on, brothers and sisters. And the people who know what I'm talking about know that I know what I'm talking about because these were musical giants that nobody is talking about anymore. And we say what happened to them. I'm going to tell you what happened to them or what I think happened to them over the course of this discussion. When we start talking about groups like the Spinners, when we start talking about groups like the Commodores or the Whispers or the Delphonics or the Shy Lights, brothers and sisters, you're talking about groups of people who celebrated music, but music was life. Music had freedom and authenticity away from the record companies. You may get a hit on an album. You may get 2 hits on an album, but what you got was a complete album. You see, this was the period that spawned Teddy Pendergrass, Lou Rawls. Only Lou Rawls can write a song that says arrogantly, "You'll never find, as long as you live, someone that loves you the way I do." That's writing, brothers and sisters. That's writing. Now, what we have now is, "Give it here, girl. I'm over here." Uh, or, "I want money for the honey." I don't know where this came from, brothers and sisters, but it's scared. You know, we always laugh about your mother's music and your daddy's music. Here's the deal. R&B that goes back to the 80s or even the 70s has some distinguishing characteristics. And the distinguishing characteristics is you can listen to it over generations. No shade to the artists that are out there, but I'm like, what are you guys putting out here? What is I listened to a song by a young man named Usher. And you know what the song was? He got caught with another woman, thought he was being a man, telling her, "I got the other woman pregnant." This is not music. This is not music. This is social work. This is artists that need counseling. You don't need to be in studios anymore. Stop writing your problems out. We don't want to hear about it. You can keep putting out these records. Call the record labels what you on, Prozac, Adderall. But stop making this garbage music and listen. Because people like me love you, go back a little bit. Go back and listen to the heartbeat of the people. See, that's when people made music for the people. The Spinners. Whenever you call me, I'll be around. If they did that song today, or artists try to do a remix of that song today, somebody gonna get a restraining order. Why? I didn't call him, but he's around. Okay. So as we move forward, brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring back some characteristics of old school R&B, and then we're going to talk about what happened. Why don't we not celebrate Marvin Gaye the way he should be? Stevie Wonder is a living legend. In fact, I believe as long as Stevie Wonder is living, I believe 85% of the artists out there should just stop making music and go to Stevie Wonder's class on making music. Okay, just go. Because Stevie Wonder has hits to the point where he doesn't have to put out any music. We're talking about prolific artists. You know, it's no secret that a guy like Prince passes away and he has 400 songs that have never been released. or 1,000 songs that have never been released because they're writers. They are writers. They are thinkers. They are feelers of the community. When you talk about emotion, brothers and sisters, and when we talk about R&B songs, I'm talking about, of course, slow songs, but there are songs that make you get up and feel good. McFadden and Whitehead, ain't no stopping us now. Think about that, brothers. When's the last time you heard that? You know when the last time I heard it? This morning on the track, listen to Biz Markie singing a song called Let Me Turn You On. Okay, that's the title. But it was tasteful and it was fun. And he celebrated the music. Brothers and sisters, we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about what happened to old school R&B here on the Shout Out Show. I'm Preacher Moss. You know what to do. Hit it. All right, brothers and sisters, we're back here on Throwback Thursday. What happened to old school R&B? Listen, we're going to get into this, but let me go through my protocols. If you're coming on the show for the first time, you are welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. We welcome you with open arms. But here's the deal. If you got something to say, a comment, don't be shy. Don't keep it to yourself. Get in that comment section. Let us know what you're thinking because we're definitely going to let you know what we're thinking. That spot is occupied by some very special people. I call them stars in the building. That spot is occupied by none other than, you guessed it, the Shout Out Show family, the Shout Out Show soldiers. I'm going to be getting into it in just a moment. So, and the other thing, yeah, share, subscribe, like, you know what I'm talking about. Do your thing. And I want to give a thanks. I don't know who's been subscribing to us repeatedly, but we're up to, I think, 175 subscriptions. Man, God is good. Okay, so here's the deal. As long as you guys have that information, I want to get to my stars in the building, my Shout Out Show family. We got a couple things going. We got go ahead and bring it. We got Sister Reed. Sister Reed's doing big things, brothers and sisters. She's going to have a logo for us for her new business. Reed, why can't I remember this name? We're going to have to talk about the branding because I'm either getting old or we're going to have to put Soulful. Okay. Let me get it right. Soulful Creations. I don't know why I can't remember that. Satana, why can't I remember Soulful Creation? Soulful Creations, and just so you guys know, in the Houston area, she's having her debut for Soulful Creations at the International Market, 239 Greens Road, Houston, Texas. The time is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I don't think that food is not going to last to 7 p.m., people. So make sure you get out there and support our sister Reed. We hope you're doing well. Hope Derek's doing well. And we hope that Jawan is doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in to the show. Next up, Altaf Rashid, my main man. Altaf, I want to know what R&B music that you remember, that you hold on to. Okay. Now my vast knowledge of R&B music is rather large, despite the fact I'm only 21 years old. Shut up, Satana. It's my show. Don't you laugh at me. I thought we want to figure out what's going on across the border in Canada in terms of music. For those that don't know, Altaf is our official Canadian ambassador to the show, making sure the quality of the show has good flavor, good tone on this side of the border and the other side of the border. Thank you so much. And he's always on time. We call him Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down. My man, Altaf Rashid. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Next up. We got my main man, Jabril Ho, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, this is actually your show. Jabril, I believe this is your show because Jabril, I don't know how he does it. I know how he does it. But Jabril, whenever an artist comes through Charlotte, old school or not, Jabril always gets a picture of him. And he puts it on the Instagram and he makes everybody else upset that we don't have the pool. But Jabril knows everybody I'm talking about from old school rappers to Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, he knows all of this music. So, Jabril, I want you to definitely chime in on some things in terms of what we're talking about, what happened to old school R&B. All right. Well, alaikum salam to you and your family as well. Next up, oh, and shout out to your daughter. She's in armed forces, right? She went to armed forces, I believe. Well, shout out to you and the family. All right, next up, here we go. My little brother, JT, better known as Johnny L. Thomas. That's his tax name. Well, I my slide off to it, but you know who I'm gonna go for. Talking about what happened to old school R&B. I'm gonna give some heads up, but just feel free to jump in. Feel free to and represent the Thomas clan in this conversation. All right. Next up, remember soulful, rubbing your stomach, saying, "Oh Lord, I'm so full." Okay, you can't put that on the card there, Reed. But I will take a picture of myself full, and you can put it out on the stand by people. That they be like, "I'm gonna get that food. That boy look full. His pressure look high." No, I'm just kidding. All right, there you go. Okay, Jabril has corrected me. My daughter's in the Army National Guard. She will be home, inshallah. All right, peace and blessings to your daughter, man. She just graduated, doing good things. Congratulations to you and your wife. And how could we forget giving salams, wa alaikum assalam, rahmatullahi barakatuh, to Satana Whitfield working the back, the 1 and 2 on this very important topic. We ain't talking about Afghanistan. We're not talking about COVID. We're not talking about unemployment. We're not talking about crime. We're talking about what happened to old school R&B, because today that's what's important on Throwback Thursday. We can get back to other topics, but today we're going to talk about it. Here we go. Here's what happened to old school R&B. Are you ready? They stopped teaching music in public school. That was the first brick. Like if it's Jenga, that's the first thing you pull out. They stopped teaching music in public school. When I say teaching music, I'm talking about music, not just instruments, voice, theater. They gutted that program, brothers and sisters. They said it wasn't worth anything. And so you had a generation of kids that didn't have musical apprenticeships. They didn't have musical mentors, And of course, a lot of the old R&B stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s was on what? Wax. You had a period whereby everything on wax had to wait to be transferred over to cassette tape. And from cassette tape, transferred over to CD. Now, what happened was everything didn't transfer. I got a bunch of 78s in my mom's house. She's telling me to get them out of there. I got a bunch of 45s. I got a bunch. You ever show a 45 to a kid or a 45? Isn't that the funny to put the little yellow thing in the middle? Just say, "Hey, what's that?" They'd be looking at it like a dog at a ceiling fan. I don't know. This is where it breaks down. There's a certain thing about when you play R&B and when you, I want to say, engage R&B. There's different types of R&B. Jabril, are you with me? It's different types of R&B. Look at Jabril. I'm still listening to the same old school R&B that I grew up with 50 years later. I don't think any kid today will be able to say that in 50 years. Not only do I still listen to them, I've been able to meet many of them. I know. Why you got to bring that up, man? I know you meet them all. I see the pictures, Jabril. I see the pictures. This is my show, Jabril. Don't show me up on my show. I ain't met none of them. No, I'm just messing with you. But Jabril is right, though. The interesting thing about R&B is you can go back in a catalog and you can find pretty much an R&B song that fits a period of your life. An R&B song that fits a period of your life, even up until the 90s. Luther Vandross had a hit called Can I Take You Out Tonight? Now, the chorus is, "Excuse me, miss, what's your name? Where are you from? Can I come take you out tonight?" That's communication. That is part of a conversation. "Excuse me, miss, what's your name?" That works, brothers. If you're out there, some of you brothers trying to get married, you might want to ask a sister what her name is. Just I'm not being particular. You can't say, "She's great. What's her name?" Ooh, you don't want to do that. Asking your name, where you're from, is part of conversation. What am I saying? Old school R&B is conversational. Even old school hip hop is conversational. When you listen to the Vapors is over old school beat, but it's conversational. Bismarcky, Big Daddy Kane, all of these guys are conversationalists. Now, these guys who are out today, some of them are singers, but they're not conversationalists. And when you start thinking about it, it has a characteristic. Good old school R&B emphasize process. I was saying this with Sister Tana, particularly in the boy meets girl genre of R&B. The songs were always made and had an impetus or underlying theme that while that girl was beautiful and pretty and all of that, you still had to meet her father or you still had to meet her mother. So when you went over the house, you ain't just pick her up. She ain't just jump in the car. Nope. You better have some candy for her and her mama and conversation for her father because she wasn't going nowhere. And let me throw this one out. Old school R&B at its core is Southern. It is Southern. It comes from the South up. There's no such thing as real old school North R&B because it all comes up from the South. That's it. Motown, there's a bunch of Southern dudes. Listen, my Aunt Ruth went to school at Cardozo High School with Marvin Gaye. They went to class together. Marvin Gaye studied music. As my father said, he was in his chorus, but he liked to play football, by the way. He tried to go out for the Detroit Lions, by the way. But that's a whole nother story. But old school, and this is going to hurt, brothers and sisters, especially if you know where I'm coming from. Old school R&B, whether it was Meet a Young Lady, Kicking It With Your Friends, freedom songs like Curtis Mayfield, Move On Up, even Sam Cooke, Change's Gonna Come. Here it is. Here it is. It's masculine. It's masculine, meaning it's men making music with a particular intention. It's made for women. And when women made music, the old school R&B, it was singing to a man, but it also spoke to the women. That's how you know it's good. A woman can sing an Aretha Franklin song and sing it to a man and sing it to a woman at the same time. Of course, they get different meanings, but that's the beauty of it. The duality. The music today, no duality. Tell me, I can't even tell you what the top R&B single is. I don't even think I have anymore. They don't even have R&B anymore. Jabril, do they even have R&B anymore? I don't know. Jabril knows. But it follows a certain lineage. Listen, the Temptations had a song called My Girl. Okay? My Girl. He's singing about my girl, but he's I have to say this, brothers and sisters, because this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful songwriting. The attributes are that my girl has all these things she makes me feel like. Not that what she does to me. She makes me feel like. Therefore, there is the space where there is a relationship that can happen. My favorite Temptation song is, oh, snap. Miriam. Never mind. Oh. Excuse me, everybody. All right. Oh, that was crazy. Sorry about that, folks. You don't know what happened? Do you know what happened? The green screen fell on me. The green screen fell. I don't even know. That's how slick I am. You know, I slid out like the spinners. I was like, all right. So it's all good. It's all good. So in any event, what I was saying was when you make music for everybody appreciates it. Like I don't really like some of the rap music now. The rap music is made for the rap music that I can actually understand. And I knew it was a problem, brothers and sisters. I knew it was a problem because I don't think OGs are really playing the stuff that we hear now. I think I might have stopped listening at the neo soul level when I could hear the lyrics. I mean, a couple of years ago, I bought a D'Angelo album download, and I wanted my money back because listening to his lyrics, I turned them up louder, and every dog in the neighborhood came by like, "Hey, the D'Angelo's cold, ain't he?" Like, dogs are like, "He cold." I was like, "Did you hear that?" Like, yeah, I did. Okay, no knock on D'Angelo. I like his stuff, but his last album, I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Part of R&B music is that people understand your lyrics. Why? Because they can hear them. They can hear them. And back me up on this, somebody. JT, you knew when it was real R&B because when you got the album, you would get the album, you get something to drink, a Coca-Cola or something like that, a piece of pound cake. I feel like Bill Cosby saying pound. You get the pound cake. Okay. You're going to get the pound cake and listen to the Spinners. No, all right. All right. Shout out to Bill. Bill still out? Okay. We hope he's still out, Bill. Move. That's what I'm saying. Take all your R&B and move. Here's the deal. A good R&B record was an event. It was something that could be played at other events, cookouts, weddings, things like that. I mean, if you ever go to a wedding right now of somebody, 30, you know what they're going to play? They're going to play something from our age that makes sense. Because you can't put other stuff out there. I'm not even going to the aspect of live instruments and arrangements and stuff like that. That's what made R&B R&B. You had somebody that arranged the music, not somebody, DJ one finger, boop, and that was it, and he played. Okay, yeah, I'll give that to you. Yes, and neo soul like Maxwell and Raheem Devon. It's cool. I mean, Maxwell cold blooded. I give it to him. He's a musician. But that last D'Angelo album, I'm like, I don't know, brother. I mean, even looking at the lyrics, I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Okay, but let me throw this one out. I talked about a real R&B album. You could hear me now. Put the album on a record player. Did I say record player? Yes, I did. You could put the album on a record player. Put the needle on the record. Look at the kids. What's a needle on a record, mommy? Okay. Let me go even deeper. And you put it on 33 and a third speed. They're like, what is that? Is that a Wi-Fi speed? No, that's a record speed. And you can sit and you can listen to an album while it played. You could take the inside of the album out of the jacket cover, and they had lyrics. They had lyrics. Al Green had lyrics. Teddy Pendergrass had lyrics. Barry White had lyrics. Stevie Wonder had lyrics. I still have the Stevie Wonder album that had Do I Do on it. Remember Do I Do? It was so good. Stevie Wonder started rapping, and he didn't know he was rapping. We didn't know he was rapping. He was like, do I do what you do when I do my love for you? And I said, that man's a genius. Do I did it what you do when I do my love, Nate? And we were like, who is Nate? Here's my point. It's classic R&B. There's not a bad record on that one. There's not a bad record on Hotter Than July because guys made complete concept albums. You didn't have a plethora of producers. I was listening to a podcast. I think it was not Revisionist History, something like Broken Record or something like that. You can go on Apple. And they interviewed John Hall and Daryl Oates. No, they just interviewed John Hall. Okay, now many people know the group as Hall and Oates. Hall and Oates out of Philadelphia. They spent time with Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, Kenny Gamble. And what they said was a beautiful thing. They said, first of all, our name was never Hall and Oates. They said it was John Hall and Daryl Oates. And what he talked about was the way they put their albums together. And I peeped this one thing that he said. He said, man, that the musicianship tied in so well to the songwriting that they had an era whereby things weren't hits, but they connected you to hits. You always knew the sound of what was happening. You know, I can't tell you how many brothers were mad when they found out that the Hall and Oates hit Sarah Smile was done by white guys. Look, Sultana, you still mad, ain't you? I know you leaving and you can't go. Why don't you stay until tomorrow? That is what I'm talking about. That's when your lady fitting to leave you. You can go, but stay till tomorrow. See what I'm saying? Most of y'all ain't got no game like that. Now, and I'm not saying I do, but I'm just saying. These were lyrics. It was poetry. When's the last time you listened to some poetry in terms of music? People that really, really write lyrics. I mean, I'm lucky because I still listen to jazz singers, people like Gregory Porter, people like Andy Bay, who continue to turn out this type of music. That gets me grounded. But I'm talking about for the R&B, brothers and sisters, whoo. I tell you what, they're releasing a film. Jennifer Hudson is going to be starring as Aretha Franklin. Go see it. Spend a little time, go see it. All right. So before we go, I gotta say something because I've forgotten this the last couple of days. Belated happy Islamic New Year. I've been forgetting it every time, and I forget it. It'll be the next New Year before I say it. Then I got to double up. So let me give you guys what I think on my top 5 all time. Oh, so Otto says I think mid 90s is the cutoff for good R&B. I'm gonna go with you on that. I'm gonna go with you on that. Look, you can't put R. Kelly in there. You can't put R. Kelly in there. Derek can't put on. All right, I ain't gonna lie. He did come up with some good songs. All right, but he got some extenuating circumstances. All right, Jabril said, I just bought a new needle for my Techniques turntable. Oh my goodness. The other day, sometimes it's nice to sit and listen to the album. You know what I love when I put on music? The scratches. I love it. You know, and you know, it's the imperfect aspect of the condition of a record. You be listening to a record, Stevie Wonder, I just called, and then it scratch, I just called Tuku, I just called Tuku, I just called Tuku, I just called Tuku. I miss that, brothers and sisters, because this music is just, what's going on? Kareem Almas, Alhams. Okay, Kareem Alhams, how you doing, brother? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kareem? I'm not being picky. I'm just saying I think it's a conspiracy to make sure old school R&B comes back. You know why? Because it's going to expose people. People who thought they were the shiznits, they're not the shiznits. They're not all that. They can't play an instrument. They don't write their music. They have some people out there that can go now. Don't get me wrong. You know, and I think the only reason these people are out there is because they still stealing from the greats. Because you still have Earth, Wind, and Fire that's touring. You know what I'm saying? You still have, I mean, come on, brothers and sisters. Who can forget a Roger Troutman in Zap? He gave you the whole thing. He was the original auto-tune. Computer Love. I Want to Be Your Man. Come on, brothers. He even covered Marvin Gaye that Heard It Through the Grapevine. All I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, you don't want to miss it any more than we have. So if you can do something on Throwback Thursday, is when you ride in your car and you hear somebody playing some rap music, I want you to find that special cut of Teddy Pendergrass. or the Commodores or BB King or Phyllis Hyman, somebody, and blast that joint. And just look to the left and tell them good day. Because you've expounded the musical boundaries. You've expanded the musical boundaries. And that's it. My mom said old groups synchronize songs with outfits and giving a reason, wording. Yeah. See, when you tell a story, brothers and sisters, it has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. When you write a song, and I throw this out to my good friend Nuri Amir, who was he was a songwriter with Kool in the Gang. He said, essentially, brothers and sisters, is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out. And that is the musical structure of every hit you've heard. Jabril says Anthony Hamilton. Could you put that back up? Charlotte's Own definitely brings it. Yeah. And when we hear it, we're like, oh, where have you been? Wait, that song where he talks to Jesus, I don't know what kind of trouble he was in, Jabril. The boy was talking to Jesus. And for a minute, I was like, ooh, I don't know what you did, but I wouldn't eat anything in that house. But he says a song and he leaves it out there, brothers and sisters. And I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, I'm not poo-pooing on all the artists that's out there. Okay, yes, I am. I'm not gonna lie, just be honest. I'm saying to all you young artists out there that don't have any idea about the old school R&B, about the 60s and the 70s and all this stuff before electronic music and da-da-da, and you just wake up in the morning and figure you're gonna be a singer. You stink! Stop making music! You're killing us! You're worse than lead paint. You're worse than COVID. You're worse than the Ebola virus. You're worse than hepatitis. Stop making music. Please, please, please. That's James Brown. All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsor. Call 1-888-496-6845. Who is that? That is, you know what I'm talking about. Be financially independent.com. Again, that's befinanciallyindependent.com. Go to the website, or you can call a number. I'm just giving it to you. 1-888-496-6845. All right. And also, we give a shout out to Brother Jihad Turk, who will be in the city of Sugar Land, Texas. He is the president of, you guess it, Bayan Islamic Graduate School. He'll be there. If you're in the Sugar Land area, make sure you check him out. He's going to be doing a presentation at Masjid Mariam, second khutbah at Masjid Mariam, and he'll be doing a special session, I believe, at 7 o'clock. Make sure you check him out, okay? So this is it. You can actually go to bayanonline.org and get that information about Islamic education at a graduate or doctorate level. Listen, brothers and sisters, you've been great. I wish I could play some music for you, but I get sued because all the people that don't make the music seem like they own the music. But in honor of the spinners, whenever you call me, I'll be around. That's Shout Out Show. Take care. Stop making that bad music. Yo, assalamu alaikum. I'm Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire, but I like to add a new title to my name. I'm Professor Preacher Moss. You know why? Because I just graduated. Wait a minute. Let me get this out of here. This is it. Okay. I'm Professor Preacher Moss, and it's come through the courtesy and the blessing of the Muhammad Ali Scholarship, which came through Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Now, listen, I know a lot of you people are thinking, can I do it? Yes, you can do it. This is the part where I'm supposed to say, it's easy. It's not easy. Listen, it was easy to get this degree. Trump would be a mufti. I digress. Listen, though, for you brothers and sisters that are interested, go to bayanonline.org, and you could be like me. Put yourself in the picture for Islamic education. Wait a minute, there's a picture right there. Sound like them, everybody. Take care. Preach them all.